Calls from Republicans are intensifying for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, or as Trump would call him, DeSanctimonious, to pick President elect Trump's daughter in law, Lara Trump, to replace his Secretary of State pick, Marco Rubio, in the Senate. On Thursday, Florida Senator Rick Scott said he hopes Trump picks his daughter in law, echoing his colleague Senators Lindsey Graham and Katie Britt. Florida Representative Anna Paulina Luna has also publicly backed her. Appointing Lara Trump would ensure that the incoming president has a loyalist in the Senate, but it would most definitely come with criticism from Democrats. But DeSantis, who has been on a trade mission in Italy this week, will ultimately make the final call. The governor himself and a number of figures from his orbit have been floated as well, including his own chief of staff, as well as the state's lieutenant governor and attorney general. There are a lot of good names in the mix for the Senate seat, Lara Trump being one of them. Republican Party, a Florida chair, Evan Powers, said. I think she'll be a capable voice if that's the direction the governor decided to go in. Lara Trump herself expressed interest in the position during an interview with Fox Business's Maria Bartiromo on Thursday. If this is something I am asked to do, I would seriously consider it, but I have yet to hear from Governor DeSantis, so we'll see what happens, Lara Trump said. Lara Trump has received praise from Republicans across the board for her role as Republican National Committee co-chair, given the party's massive wins last week. She worked incredibly hard at the RNC and helped deliver a huge win for Trump and Republicans across the country, said one Florida House Republican. She is articulate and would be a reliable MAGA vote for Trump. The speculation over the seat's future comes as the state has become the epicenter of Republican Party politics. In addition to nominating Rubio, Trump also tapped Florida Representative Mike Waltz for National Security Advisor and former Representative Matt Gaetz for Attorney General. Additionally, Trump is carrying out his transition operation from his Mar-a-Lago home in Palm Beach, Florida, with his incoming chief of staff and veteran Florida political operative Susie Wiles. The dynamic could put Trump and DeSantis, who put their Republican primary rivalry aside ahead of the general election, on a potential collision course. The two famously engaged in a highly personal presidential primary battle. Another added element is Wiles' central role in Trump's political world. Wiles worked on DeSantis' successful 2018 gubernatorial campaign, but the two developed a rift. She responded to news of DeSantis dropping out of the GOP primary in a post on social platform X, writing, "Bye-bye." To be clear, the president-elect has not publicly pushed for Lara Trump to fill the position. Meanwhile, DeSantis endorsed the then Republican candidate after exiting the primary, part of an effort at burying the hatchet. In April, Trump and DeSantis met for 3 hours in South Florida in a meeting that was arranged by businessman Steve Witkoff. Witkoff was appointed to be Trump's special envoy to the Middle East earlier this week. Trump touted the meeting as great and confirmed he had the full enthusiastic support of DeSantis. The governor was given a speaking role at the Republican National Convention months later and has played a central role in pushing for an investigation into the second assassination attempt against Trump in Palm Beach. DeSantis endorsed Trump, so by all accounts, the relationship between the two of them is fine, said Justin Safey, a Florida-based strategist. He endorsed him a lot earlier than Nikki Haley did. So this goes on for a little bit longer. I'm just going to say this. Florida is one of the largest states in America. It has tilted more towards Republicans over the last few years. Of course, I'll never forget the shock of DeSantis even being able to pull out the victory against Gillum during the 2018 midterm, where it seemed like Democrats could be competitive everywhere. That was one of the biggest disappointments I've had just in watching these races over the years. But really think about this. In the whole state of Florida, one of the largest states in the union, I am supposed to believe that the person most qualified to become a senator, to be appointed senator, and then, possibly stay there depending on how the elections afterward go, is Trump's daughter-in-law from New Jersey. I think that's pretty wild and pretty ridiculous. And it's like, you look at Anna Paulina Luna, the congresswoman, and you say, I get where you do the whole careerism thing, right? You want to make yourself look good for the boss, so you don't call him out or say anything that could be considered antagonistic to his perspective. But it's like, lady, you're a congresswoman. If anyone should be considered for receiving the Senate seat without running for it, out of Trump's orbit, I would think it would be you. You're from that state. I mean, what she like? I'll give you an example. Imagine if Trump's son-in-law Kushner, right, was from Ohio, and after this election, Vance is going to become the vice president, and you have Ramaswamy going, I would very much support Jared Kushner for the next senator from Florida, from Ohio. It's like, well, okay, Ramaswamy, you're allowed to have that opinion, but I mean, I would think, as someone who has clear electoral ambitions, you would want the seat yourself. But it's wild, just the complete nepotism, and like again, I get Florida has become red, whatever, but that's the best you can do. Trump's daughter-in-law, who's never ran for any position, period, outside of co-chair of the RNC, which isn't even like before voters. That's like some inter-party stuff where it's just a handful of people pick you. I don't know. I think it's really sad that such a large state, where they could have their attorney general take over, they could have their lieutenant governor take over, whole bunch of people, right? All the different Congress members, and this is who they select or who they're pushing for. You got Britt. Of course, she's doing the biggest cheerleading. Her and Graham, and I think that Lara will be a vote for MAGA. It's like, well, hell, if you look at Rubio, who had his issues with Trump in the past, when exactly was he not supporting Trump's votes? Like, what do you remember any period either during Trump's presidency or afterward where Rubio came out and said, I don't agree with Trump's stance on this issue? You never saw that because that never happened. There's no Republican that could theoretically get this seat who is not going to be a reliable MAGA vote. It's blatant nepotism. I wouldn't have such a problem with it. Like, it'd still be nepotism, but like it wouldn't be as bad if she at least had run for something before or had some prior experience with electoral politics. It's just really pathetic that this person is supposedly the best Florida can do, which it's not. But I guess your ability to actually perform the duties of an office don't matter as much as who's in your bloodline.